what's going on, guys? It's Wreck-It Rob TCG bringing to you another Elestrals video. Finally, I have returned. I have come back to the community. I never really left. I was always kind of keeping up to date with it, but I was just taking a break from it because there was a lot of stuff that was coming out, but it was all updates on the, like what's happening with manufacturing, things like that. And so I was just kind of taking a break before all of the big stuff came out, when I got my cards and all of that kind of content that I was going to be making after that point. So yeah, this is basically a video. I haven't gotten the cards yet, but this is going to be a video, kind of a cool video in my opinion. I'm going to be doing kind of a timeline of from what I've missed 7 months ago to this point now. And yeah, so I'm going to go over all the videos that Dan or Adrive has put out, and I've got kind of like bullet points, so if I look off to the screen just a little bit, don't pay any attention to it. It's good, but yeah, I've got all this information set up, so I'll be able to kind of give you guys some cool details on what's come out if you haven't been keeping up to date with it yourselves. This is going to be a really good refresher on what's happened in the last 7 months up to this point today, because there was new information that dropped today, or at the point of this video recording. And so yeah, we're going to go over it, and here we go. Alright, so like I said in the last clip, basically we're going to be starting from 7 months ago, working our way down. I'll kind of let you guys know at what month we're in. So yeah, 7 months ago, kind of after the craziness of the Kickstarter, basically he was posting a lot of videos of getting people set up in the Kickstarter system, and then he was getting things going for like fulfillment, making sure your addresses were inputted, making sure you got your payments done, all of that kind of stuff. So in the video that he posted, which I'm referencing here, and I have all of the links for every video that I'm talking about in the description, so if you guys wanted to reference it, go to his channel at Elestrals and you'll be able to see it there. But yeah, so this first video I'm looking at here is Elestrals Digital App gameplay. Basically, he's showing you the very bare bones of what his team was able to create to that point. And it was showing you, it's still in beta, it's still very, very kind of new and very sandboxy is the way he referenced it. Basically, you have to click, you have to, if you're showing, or if you're moving a card to a designated location like the underworld, or you're pulling from your deck, or you're pretty much doing anything, you're manually entering it. And to this point, it is still kind of like that. There is a little bit more automation in it, but it is still very early on, very alpha, beta. So stuff like that. Basically, the video just goes on to show what they have created so far. He played a game with Jay Johnny, and he, showed, they played, and showed a lot of different functionality of the app. So that's basically the video that I'm referencing on that one. Up next, we've got the newest Frost Elestrals. So there was I think it was like a 30-some second or maybe a 50-second, something like that. It was a short teaser trailer, basically, of a new Frost Elestral, besides Flurmine, the Frost Spirit that was announced during Kickstarter. This one is the first Frost Elestral that has been brought up. And yeah, so the Elestral's name is KRYOLING, and it is it's a new one. He shows the actual image of the card, and he shows the effect, or the future planned effect for the card in set 2. So that's basically what he shows up with on that one. Alright, so next up, we've got in month 5, or 2 months from the first one I was talking about here, is a big update. He was getting information back from manufacturers about certain products getting completed here. So he was talking about his plushies were being finished, minus Flurmine. They were having some issues, and I'll go over that here in a minute. But plushies were getting finished, the binders were done, pins were made. Let's see here. The big thing that he was talking about in the first part of it was that their holo cards, they were having problems in printing. They had actually finished, from what he said, all of them were printed, and then some of them had print lines, and it wasn't to do with anything, like on Adrive Steam or anything like that. It was the company that he went through to get their holo material. It had flaws in it, and when they went to print it, they lay it over top of the actual card image and then press, and when that happened, that created printing lines. And so he was dealing with them for weeks on getting that, resolved and fixed. So that's part of one of the bigger things that he goes into. I've got images for a lot of this stuff referencing, so you guys will be able to see it as I'm talking about it. Then he goes on to talk about his custom holo patterns. He shows us an image of the holo pattern and, just like the bare bones of it, and it looks really good. And then he goes and talks about the dice being finished, the custom die that he's going to have in every single starter box, or starter deck box. Those were done. He made changes to the amount of sleeves. So when you place an order on Kickstarter for a sleeve pack, initially it was set to be all of one style for all of the stadium sleeves. Those are all going to be the same to my knowledge. There's not going to be variation between spirit deck and main deck, but for the two-tone basically sleeves that he had there, he's going to have separating spirit color and main deck color, but he increased the size from 60 to 100. So now you're going to get 100 sleeves per pack for the same price. He didn't, nobody got charged extra for that or anything like that, which is great. And it'll make collecting more cards and swapping cards in and out of your deck from like your side or your, like binders or whatever the case may be. You're going to be able to do that a lot more easily because you're going to have way more sleeves to, be able to do that with. So that's pretty cool. And then he was also talking about his production with the Golden Pantera metal card. So he only had that in select tier categories for Kickstarter, and the manufacturer, they were having kind of issues getting that. They weren't like, communication was kind of getting lost in there, and he was not being able to convey what he wanted to them. And so they sent him prototypes and they didn't come out the way he wanted. One of them that he showed on screen they didn't even have like the sparkle, like the glitter effect to the card itself. It was literally a plain, it was like a plain white or a yellowish background to it. So he was talking about getting that all fixed on that one. All right, and then 4 months ago, this is I've got the some of the stuff on the screen here for you guys coming up. So starter decks had been finished being assembled, made, and all that, and he had a demo from the manufacturer, I presume. They opened it up. You saw the Void sticker come or peel up, and it looked like it worked just fine. It had the Void text on there, and then they opened it up. It has the custom die in there. It had the rule book, which is like 40 pages long or something like that, and then they had the main deck, and it looked like 60 cards stacked. You guys could see it. It's a pretty big bundle, but I think it was like 72 because I think it has like extra cards if you want it to side out. Like each starter deck has like some odd like that, and then 20 spirits in there. Anyway, but it had that. And the box looks really good. The construction on all of it just, together seems like it was really well done. Obviously, I won't be able to know until I have it in my hands, but I will, I'll go into that. But overall, it looked good. And then he was talking about the packs. They were nearing completion. Most of them had already been made. He was just waiting on maybe like an order or two more to be like fully added into the mix. But all of these single packs have been, basically completed. Then he showed and was talking about the TGA grading company that he is a partner of, and he was showing that they had, in the time since Kickstarter started, where he showed us an image, they had actually gone back, reworked an entirely new label. So at the top of the plaque there's like a little label that has TGA and then the card and the grade that you're getting for it and on that slab. And so he was showing that they redid a new label for it, and it actually looked really good comparative to what they showed initially, which was really plain, and it was fine, but it was, this one's a lot better. It looked very professional, very well done. So yeah, that looks good. And then he was talking more about the Pantera. He was still having a few problems with the company getting that one printed correctly, but I think he was kind of nearing the end of that, so it sounded like he was kind of getting it figured out there. Floormine plushie, he had one made through one manufacturer. He got it, he showed it on camera and showed that it wasn't quite what he was looking for. There was like on the tail there was like kind of like the Frost logo, and it was kind of off-centered, so he decided that he was going to scrap that, and they were going to go to a new manufacturer and see if they could have better luck making that plushie. And then, yeah, he was talking more about the app and how they were getting more updates going for it, and it was still in the works, and it was still looking good. And so, yeah, that was 4 months ago update. All right. Also, 4 months ago, he came out with another update. This one was for their RPG kind of pixel-looking game that they were coming out with. It was actually, I believe it was a fan-made thing at first that somebody had submitted to Adrive and was like, hey, I've been doing this on the side, and I wanted you to take a look at it, and if you want, you can start working on it and, you know, develop it. And so it was a showcase. It was a very, you know, short demo Adrive was showing on, and he was basically playing it. And although it wasn't like, none of the text was accurate, you know, like they were talking about certain things that the Elestrals company won't be able to endorse or anything like that. They don't want that to be the final text, but the game itself looked good. Now, personally, I am not a big fan of like those style of games. It was like a platform kind of a game, and to me, that's not really my thing. But as far as like an overall look and as a functional game, it looked great. And so I think people will enjoy that, especially if you are a big fan of like those kind of art style. If you're a big fan of like platforming and stuff, like platform games and stuff like that, you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. It looked good, and they're still in production of that. I know we're gonna kind of break the wall here, and I'm gonna bring it to current times. I know that he is still having it worked on. I just know that it's kind of put on the back burner a little bit. It's not something that, because of all this new Elestrals news, all the cards are getting, you know, shipped out and stuff like that. So he's kind of busy with the main portion of the Elestrals world right now. So he doesn't he hasn't been making very many updates on it as of late. But it is still in production that I'm aware of, and like I said, it looked good. So if you guys want to go and check that out, go and check that video out. Link again in the description below. Alright, so we're going to fast forward a little bit. This is 2 months ago that he made this update for the Kickstarter. In this update, basically, he was talking about how he was expecting the products to, you know, be a little bit ahead of schedule. The manufacturers were kind of getting them put together, boxed up, ready for shipment out. You know, they were shipping them on big cargo ships, and so they were getting ready to do that process. So he was saying that potentially a majority of the people that placed orders, they were going to get them maybe a week, maybe a few weeks ahead of schedule, you know, sometime in July, not so much in, you know, August to late August to September, you know what I mean? It's kind of in that timeline. So that was part of that, that was the first part of the video, his good news, bad news, good news situation video. He explains it much better than I am. But anyway, moving on, so to the bad news part of what he was talking about there. He was talking about how the company that he went through for manufacturing the cards, they basically, so this is referring back to the print lines that I had mentioned earlier, on the cards. They were struggling to get things done the way he was looking for it. He had a signed contract with them and trying to, you know, like it was supposed to be no print lines. It was supposed to be very high quality stuff like that. And the cards for the most part are high quality, but he was having trouble with them, and the holos having print lines showing up every once in a while there. So for future-proofing himself and the company, he talked about them getting, you know, together with a publishing company known as Ad Magic. And so he went on to talk about their, you know, what they've been involved with. They're a very big company. They've been involved with games like Cards Against Humanity. I'm pretty sure there's almost nobody who doesn't know that game. There's also another game that he showcased. It was like, I think it was called Exploding Kittens. But those, I mean, it's a big company that actually has box store kind of product at their, you know, that they've actually worked with. And so it's a very good news for the company in general to be working with a publisher that can kind of act as the middleman. They're going to be able to take care of a lot of the ins and outs, working between Dan himself and then all of the manufacturers for all of these different products now, in the future, all of it. And they're going to be able to handle it because they are, again, a huge publishing company that have had, you know, workings with companies that have a global scale. So this is a very good news in general, as he was talking about. And so it's very exciting for that. He also made mention to the Kickstarters. He was talking about anybody who, so his biggest focus is people getting the product that they ordered, obviously. And so he was talking about when he placed the order, he tried to place about 20% above for every piece of merchandise that he was selling. He was trying to place about 20% above in the order. So, you know, people ordered 1,000 packs or 1,000 booster boxes, he ordered 200 extra. So he was talking about that, and he was saying that if he can get to about 90-ish%. He didn't say that specific number, but if he can get almost everybody fulfilled and like good to go, then he would start planning on selling the remainder of that stock on the web store for Elestrals. And so he was talking about that. It's not a guarantee. Basically, he needs to make sure that everybody is going to get fulfilled for their products before he can start doing that. But you know, silver lining being what it is, he is hoping that once everything is done, he's going to have a little bit of product left to sell, and that'll be great because anybody who missed out on the Elestrals Kickstarter is going to be able to have access to a very small, but access nonetheless to, you know, content and to you know, stock of the product on his web store, which is great. And so hopefully that does go through the way they want. And so yeah, that kind of wraps up that video there. All right, so now we move on to a month ago. I've got 2 videos in here, no, 3 videos, sorry, that I'm going to be talking about here. So the first one is his first episode in his series, Ask Me Anything, AMA. This is a really cool thing that he added. So what he did was, in Discord, weeks before he made the video, he put a new Discord lobby or whatever, chat room, that people could go in and talk and ask questions about Elestrals, the company, all of this kind of stuff, new products, you know, whatever. And they were out and they were asking questions, and then him and I'm sure there were a few moderators that did it, but him and Keith were the main ones that compiled all of these questions together and then compiled them into one video where they were able to ask and answer to the best of their ability all of the different things that were brought up there. So it's a really good video, and so I would recommend going and checking it out if you had questions but you didn't know, you know, if you weren't able to find any information on like Twitter or Discord or whatever. I mean, it's a really good video, very informative, and so I would recommend going and checking that out. The second video that I'm talking about is one of the bigger ones. Fulfillment had started. There was some app updating here, so he was talking about how the fulfillment companies were receiving the shipments for like most of Asia, he was saying, and then Australia were also receiving their products and then also shipping them to people in those regions. And so that was really cool because he was showing that one person in Australia had gotten their product, opened it up, and pulled the very first actual stellar, like besides Adrive stuff that he posted, he was able to pull the first stellar, and it was really cool. And so, but he had a bunch of different clips and showed that, and so people were, you know, finally starting to get the product there. And then he was talking about some app, you know, UI and server updates. Basically, he was talking about how he had like a bunch of different, like when you do the loading screens, all that kind of stuff, it all had custom UI kind of stuff going on with it, which is really cool. And then he was also talking about like the servers, they've been, you know, kind of beefing them up so they can get ready for the mass volume of people that were going to get access to it come August. And so, yeah, he was talking about that for a short period there. And yeah, so that's pretty much the wrap up on that one. And then the final one that I have for last month there is kind of the biggest one, and it's actually really cool, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this one. So hey guys, if you're still with me this far into the video, much appreciated, really is awesome. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying the video. If you are enjoying the video and are excited for more content coming out for Elestrals, please leave a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you're always up to date on content that I'm coming out with and you're keeping in the know on all of the Elestral stuff. Appreciate it, and let's get back to the video. Alright, so the third and final video that came out last month that I'm going to talk about is probably the biggest one, not just last month, but almost in general out of the entire last 7 months, and it's a new subscription plan that he's coming out with eventually. To this date, he hasn't, I mean, he made a post today that was talking about it, but I'll get there. But it's the subscription plan is called Shattered Stars. How it works and what it is, basically for the starting price of $10, you will get a pack in the mail shipped to you, and it will contain 4 common cards. Basically in every pack that anybody gets on this particular month that they're, you know, subscribed to this plan, they're all going to get the same 4 common cards. The difference is going to be on the 5th card, it's going to be a guaranteed holographic, and it's going to be of a variety of different things. One of the new art styles that they're showing off, and one of my personal favorites so far, it's really exciting to see new art styles and stuff like that coming into Elestrals. You know, it's going to definitely help out the game and kind of keep it fresh, is shattered glass, or you know, like that, sorry, not stained glass, that's what I meant. So with the stained glass, he shows a Voltempest card initially, and it just looks knockout gorgeous. It is a beautiful art style, and I think one that can definitely be a very longevity kind of implementing system for Elestrals in general. Like it's something that collectors are going to want. It's going to be something that everybody's going to want. It's just a nice looking style of art for the cards, and it's really cool. On top of that, you know, you have a chance to get that, just like you're gonna have a chance to get certain exclusive holographics that weren't offered in like other Kickstarter, like the Kickstarter products or future sets. One of them he mentioned was like a holographic Shield of Achilles, which is really cool because I personally like that card and I would definitely like to see a holographic form of it. So, you know, with these per month subscriptions, there's going to be exclusives that come out for that, for card styles. New stellars are going to be put kind of like rotated in and out of those, which is kind of cool. So you're gonna, with this subscription plan, not everybody's going to be able to do it. You know, it's not like a mandatory thing to, like, you know, experience the game and have fun with it, but it is something that for people who are definitely taking this more to a collectible standpoint and just more of like wanting to get fully enveloped into the Elestrals franchise in general, this is a really good way to do that. And it's not even like anything that nobody else has done. I know that Magic the Gathering, they've got one that's kind of similar to this, and so it's one of those things. Like I said, it's not a, you know, you don't have to do it, but for $10 to get a pack, their pricing is still going to adjust, and there's more pricing that I haven't talked about yet, but it's a very nice way to get these kind of exclusive offers going, and a good way to also get more product flowing to kind of the fan base of Elestrals in general, besides getting like sets, new sets coming out and stuff like that, because Adrive has already said previous times, you know, many times, that he doesn't want to overprint this game to oblivion, basically, just like a lot of other games have been doing in recent time. So, you know, this is going to be a really cool product line that he's going to do that is just going to breathe some life into this game, more than it already has. So we'll keep moving on here. Yeah, so the first pack that he's going to do for the first month is going to be Zaptor themed. It's going to have a lot of cool things like that, like Volt Tempest is in it. They're going to have a holographic full art Zaptor as a potential grab. You know, they're going to have like Thunderstorm is one of the cards that's coming as a holographic in there. You know, there's different cards like that. So it's going to have some themes in there. But I think it'll be really cool. So if you did want to do this, it's not out yet. You can't really do anything with it, but I'm sure in the next coming months, we'll see some stuff about it. I know he was talking about into August, we're going to get a big update on Shattered Stars in general. So that's really cool. And then he was showing some of the, or he was talking about some of the tiers that it can be with it. So the standard tier is $10. You get a pack. If you want 2 packs, it'll be $5 more, so it'll be $15. If you want to do 6 packs total, then you pay $30 a month. And then for 11 packs, basically 10 extra, you're paying $45. And like I said, these are not, you know, the pack count isn't, you know, 100% confirmed yet. It's not, the monetary value isn't fully confirmed yet, so we don't know what's gonna come out of this. But if you guys are interested, keep an eye on that. I know that he's been taking like surveys. He said it in the video for it. He had surveys going for people to see like if they had any cool ideas, suggestions, if they liked it, you know, stuff like that. So it's, you know, I personally really enjoyed that video. All right, moving on. 3 weeks ago, this video came out for a basic update for the Kickstarter stuff. One of the 3 mystery stellars had been pulled. Basically, when he was announcing all of this stuff and going through the Kickstarter, there were 3 cards in stellar form that had not been shown to anybody, and it was, you know, kind of like a promotional thing a little bit, but it yeah, nobody knew what these 3 other stellars were going to be. Now we had found out which, you know, what the first one was, and it was Stellar Aphoros. So that was kind of cool. He shows the card art on there. I'm going to show it on here. And then he was talking about a new website that he was having created, and it's called stellarpool.com. Basically what it is it's going to be a listing of all of the stellar pulls, so people have to, like, if they get a stellar card pulled in like a box set or starter box or something along those lines, that they pull one, they can go to this website. They don't have to put their name, to my knowledge, they don't have to like put down their name and anything like that. It's nothing like super, like all of your personal information is going on this website, but Basically, you can list it, you can put the number at the bottom, like what number in the series it is, and you can it'll show up, and so anybody can see, you know, more or less who has the card and when it was pulled, and you know, stuff like that, which is kind of cool. It's a really cool way to track and to kind of add some special value to these cards on top of what is already serialized about them. And so I think, you know, it looked like a cool. I checked it out. The site is now up, and it looked like a really nice site. And I think it'll be really nice when people start pulling stellars, and in the future of this game, when, you know, the stellar thing is, you know, there's a lot more stellars to look at and to, you know, see, you know, track them down. I think it's a really cool way to do that. So yeah. And then he was talking about the mobile app having some updates going on. One of them was a spectator mode function was added, and you know, some, like, if you disconnect from the servers, there's going to be a way to reconnect to them. So that was all talked about in that video. And then the other half of that video, he was also talking about there was new stuff talked about through some of, like, the judges and stuff like that. They talk about, like, rules and terms and stuff like that, and they knew that there were some cards, Gorgon's Gaze is going to be one of them, that had text that was not as clear as they wanted to make it. So they're doing what's called an errata. Basically, it's going to be changing the text in the future prints of that card and clarifying in the rules how that means. So one of the terms that's going to be added to the game is suppression. Basically, they're going to define what that means, and they're going to kind of expand upon that. So there's going to be, like, different words are going to have different meanings, and it's going to be, it's more for competitive play, but it is going to play a bigger role later on. However, he does heavily assure us that even though those cards are going to be changed, any of the products that you buy in your Kickstarters, even though in the future prints they're going to have the different text, the cards that you get in your Kickstarter are not going to have anything changed about them. You're still going to be able to play them. They're still going to be legal cards. So you're good on that. And yeah, so I mean, basically more for competitive and future proofing of the game is what he was talking about. Moving down the line here, we're at 2 weeks ago. This video was posted. It was his second episode in the Ask Me Anything series. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's really no different than the one I mentioned before. Basically, they just picked more people, answered more questions. It was good. This time they had Keith showing up in the videos, which was kind of cool. So if you guys are a big fan of Keith in the Discord servers, go and check him, or go and check that video out. It's really cool dynamics that they have to it. And one thing I will mention, if you guys care to know, I did post a few different questions throughout this time, and one of them was picked. It was number 10 on the list. He has Dan has the chapters at the bottom, so you can go and find it if you care to. But he does answer one of my questions, which I thought was really cool. Big shout out to him. Thank you. We appreciate all of the community feedback and stuff like that you guys are doing for the game and for all of us, and it's really cool to see. So that's all I'm going to talk about on that one. 10 days ago, the product for Kickstarter for the US had gotten into customs and cleared customs. Then it was on to shipping them to the fulfillment company that he's going through. And so currently, I mean, like I said, this is 10 days ago, but they had received the product and they were getting ready to ship them out. So he was talking about within this time, people can start seeing product and emails coming in within a few days. He said that it could be a few weeks. You know, it's kind of like the timeline on this isn't like 100%. It's basically as they go through the orders and start shipping them out, people will start getting their information, as long as you guys have confirmed your email address with the company that they're using for that, for shipping. So as long as you guys have done that, then you guys are going to start seeing emails coming in. You're going to start seeing tracking numbers, all of this kind of stuff. And so that's what this mainly is what he was talking about on that one. There was other stuff in there, but this is the most important part of it. So he was saying that the product was in the US, it was into the fulfillment company, and they were getting ready to start shipping out product. Boom. There we go. All right, and we are on to the final. If you guys are still with me, I really appreciate it. It's awesome. But we are on to the final video. This one was posted today. What's today's date? 24th of July. So, as of recording this video, it was posted today. So, in this video, he talked about emails last week. They were There were a group of emails sent out to people. It was he doesn't quite know what happened, but there were people that got emails saying your product is shipped, but it really hadn't. So he was kind of just talking about that, and he's been sending emails and like talking, you know, doing some HR stuff, and was like kind of like, hey, my bad, you know, whatever. So yeah, he was talking about that. Talks about his fulfillment company working with, or not fulfillment, his publishing company, Ad Magic. He was talking more about them, kind of like making sure that in the future stuff like the emails, mainly not the email stuff, but more like the product quality, you can say. The product quality and the ease of use between Elestrals and the manufacturers is going to go a lot smoother, a lot faster, as he's going to start putting future sets ahead of schedule before even, you know, like the Kickstarter thing was really nice, but it does slow down the amount of time that we're going to receive product, you know, from different sets and different product launches that he does. And so the publishing company is going to make this streamlined. It's going to make it a lot faster. The quality of the print is going to be a lot better. They handle all of that. And so it's going to be really, really nice. He's been stressing that for months, and so it is a good thing. Whether you care about it or not, it does greatly impact the future of the game. So he was talking about Shattered Stars. Basically, he didn't say much on it, but he did say that come August, when the app starts getting released and all of the, you know, people have mostly received their product that's in the US, he does talk about how people in like Canada, in the UK, and Europe, they are going to be a little bit delayed on when we get our product in the US, but nonetheless, he is stressing that to his knowledge, everything should be delivered within the August timeline. So but he was talking about Shattered Stars, and what little he did say was that he does plan to have a pretty big update video in August coming for that, and kind of probably getting people signed up for it is likely what it is, because he was talking about prints getting confirmed and being sent out this month or into next month for the first round of packs and stuff like that, as well as Set 2. He also made a very small mention about Set 2 and how he's basically going through and prototyping and looking at all of the Set 2 stuff right now, and then he will be sending that back to them and giving them the final approval to start the printing press on that. So good news, Set 2 is getting closer and closer to getting, you know, put in, and so we'll, you know, hopefully have some product. He's hoping by late end of year here. I don't know if that's 100% what it'll be, but if it is, that's great, because then obviously we won't get our product by then, but if they can get like the orders placed, then sometime next year again we'll be able to get the next set. So, but I don't know, I mean, he's putting in an order for these ahead of time, so maybe he does plan to have them for like the holiday season. Maybe he plans to actually have those ready to go, so keep that in mind. And then he did show that all three of the stellars had been pulled, the mystery stellars. So one of them was Aphros, the other one was Equal Links, I believe, and then what was the other one? Exaltair. Exaltair was pulled for the last mystery stellar. So all three of those have been found. So we know every single stellar in the Kickstarter packs that are coming. And then I know that in the first edition that he's going to be launching soon-ish, you know, in a few months, when he, you know, it's going to be mostly the same cards. It's just going to, with like different stellar promotions and stuff like that. So different cards will have, you know, different stellar looks and stuff like that. And then he's just talking about the mobile app. Basically, his plan is to roll that out first week of August, and that'll go to all of the backers that haven't signed up to be in the alpha test, we'll call it. And so beta will start on that, and then he talks about how in a few weeks after that, he plans to open, to my knowledge, he plans to open up the app to everybody. He plans to put it publicly on the app stores. So there we go. Like I said, if you guys have stuck with me for the whole video, thank you. Really appreciate it. If you guys liked this video, if you thought it was informative, stuff like that, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell notification so you know, because I'm going to be coming out with more content. When I get my packages, I plan to make a big announcement before I start, but I'm going to be doing a big live stream. I haven't decided yet, but I think I'm going to be opening a full case of booster boxes. It could be that I haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet, but I will be making a bigger announcement for that when it gets closer. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, we'll just be kind of enjoying the Elestrals ride as we kind of experience it here. So see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.